and 61 degrees. Clear skies outside, and it is time now for Community Spotlight. Community Spotlight powered by Farm Bureau. Farm Bureau in Elberton. You can not only get insurance, but they have Farm Bureau Bank, and they can loan you money on that next car, truck, SUV, boat, anything that you may need. They can check with Farm Bureau Bank on those options. Ben Hill and the great staff ready to help you now at Farm Bureau. And if you become a member, you can have great savings. I'm a member of Farm Bureau. What? Holler. Are y'all a member of Farm Bureau?
I am.
You are?
I am.
Well, you are. Yes. Are you?
I'm with the other farm.
Oh, okay. All right. Some people go upstate. Okay. And thank you for tuning in. Tammy, what a great week we have had. And I have already had conversations with folks from this week, which is a good thing. So good things are happening and great things, meeting people where they are and no judgment and learning that, hey, life may not, it's okay to say, hey, brother, hey, sister, I'm having some issues, and talk it out and find ways to process. Look at me learning some stuff.
You are.
Yeah, process.
You're getting an A this week
Yeah,
in your
thank
course
you.
of mental health
Thank
awareness.
you. I was telling Jake, my 15-year-old, about processing, and he said, Dad, I just want to eat supper, man. I mean, I said, see, you've processed it, and now you're ready to move on. And then he's still like, Dad, is this, I was like, I'm just making sure you go, man. And he's like, I'm good, let's eat. I was like, okay. All right,
You
so we
feel
processed it.
process
That's it. But no, it's been a great week, and a lot of really, really awesome folks have come in. And today, you pulled in some star hitters today. I mean, I don't know how you did it.
Listen, our community has been most supportive. My heart just overflows every day at the people that come in support of mental health awareness. And you know why they do it? Because they care.
Awesome.
We have genuine
Awesome.
people in Elbert County that care about each other. Isn't that wonderful?
We're a wonderful community, and really Cam McClary and his wife do such a good job at New Doves Creek.
Yes, they do.
I have many times asked Brian Umble if he could get Cam here. Brian says, "You don't understand how busy he is, Stan. I can't just get him here." And then Brian does this to me. No, I'm just kidding. But Cam so wonderful, and of course we have many other guests today. Tammy, do you want to introduce our
We
other
do.
guests?
We do. Well, we have Miss Amanda Lucas with Hicks Funeral Home, a supporter of Friends of Advantage and mental health awareness. Miss Lauren Dye, who is just a superstar with these fifth grade 4-Hers in teaching and learning. She has a Journeys magazine and put a lot of investment in mental health awareness with Elbert Partners for Health. And then, of course, our own Suzanne Sanders, the director here for clinical in Elbert County. She is our go-to for mental health treatment here, and we're proud to have her, and she's going to share some things today as well.
Now, Suzanne, do you work at Advantage?
I
Is
do.
that okay?
Here at
Okay.
the Elbert Clinic in Elberton, yes.
Okay.
Right
Awesome.
here on 50 Chestnut,
Just right there.
right there
Yeah.
across from the hospital.
That's where I'm eating most every day.
Yeah.
So, and look, we appreciate y'all coming today and taking time out. And this week, we've talked about many things about mental health and mental health awareness and just getting that word out. But it is something that isn't talked about in general. People don't just talk about it. And Cam, I have the mic that I'll throw to you, but even in churches, sometimes we feel like we can't let people know our real problems because then they'll know we're real, and so, but it is something that we, it's okay to tell somebody, find a confidant or a friend of, that you can share with and tell, but mental health, it affects us all, but it's something that we need to open up when that need comes. So, and I may throw a mic over and let Tammy and let the conversations begin.
Stan, you're right, and I'm so glad to be here this morning. I appreciate Miss Tammy for inviting me and being here with these lovely ladies this morning talking about mental health. Shika is a certified counselor, and so we understand. We've had to counsel couples and people. A lot of times people say, "Well, I can just pray it away." But sometimes you need to talk to somebody, someone that can help you process what you're going through, that help you understand, so they could show you a way out. Because God wants us healed spiritually, physically, socially, but And there also that mental component that could help with the healing process in our bodies and our minds, because we all need it sometimes. It's good to have someone to talk to.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
And you know, like, and there is the spiritual part of it, of just seeking God and things like that. And that movie, The Blind, I mean, I went to see it, and that has that decision to follow Christ. But it's a daily thing to put that on. But sometimes you just need that extra friend, and even sometimes chemical imbalance issues that you might need to deal with in treatment. And that's what we talked about, surgery. If you need surgery, you fix it, you know. And sometimes we have to work on that to fix things, you know, if you will. So it but it's okay to to not be okay sometimes.
That
I mean,
is so true.
yeah,
And you know, it's helpful when we can share people that see others as perfect, so to speak. That's not healthy. There is no such thing as perfection in someone's lives. And if you can open up and share, it can touch someone else and encourage them that, wow, I look up to this person, but they have issues too. We all do. And so, but when you walk in the light that it credits perfection, that can almost harm people in some ways because they're striving to live like that, and that really doesn't exist, does it, Pastor?
No, it does not. No, it does
No.
not.
No, we all face things in life. We all have to reach out for help. You know, I love to hear a pastor say that they can pray over it spiritually, but then they have the depth in their heart to know a professional can help along with that. No one's asking to eliminate the prayer part. That's your personal decision to do. But knowing and understanding and sharing with your congregation and your community how important it is to reach out for the professional help,
Yes, ma'am.
because that in itself can save a life. It can.
It can. Because it's so important. Um,
yes,
it's so important because many times we are taught to hold things in, not talk about it. Oh, just pray about it and it'll go away. And that's why so many people struggle. And all of us, I wish, like you said, the part about perfection, all of us have our own struggles. We all have things that we have to overcome. And and it's I know firsthand being married to a counselor, you know, she's helped me overcome things. I share personally with my own life. When my mom passed in '08, um, the grieving process was very difficult for me. It was very difficult for me. And I was leading the congregation, being a leader in the community, trying to be a father and a husband, and I just remember Sheikah talking to me and helping me. Now everybody is not married to a counselor. Everybody's not blessed to be that way.
Right.
But she really helped me get through that grieving process. And the Bible talks about how having balance, you know, gird up the loins of your mind, having balance. And she helped me do that. And now I can help other people that when they lose someone and they're grieving or they're going through a trying time, even midlife changes
Right.
can call, like some people call it midlife crisis. Some people don't handle that well. But if we can talk to someone that can help us see that we can overcome it, it's not going to destroy us, it's not going to take us out. You're not the only one going through it,
right,
and you're not any less spiritual because you're having these battles.
yeah, right.
You know,
That's
some of your super saints that people think they see, they have battles too.
Come on.
But that's why we all need a support system so that we can make it through life.
That's right.
Now, I encourage everybody,
Yeah.
get your support system, people
Yeah.
that you can trust, professionals, people that, you know, will help you process what you're going through.
There you go. I love it. I love it. That is awesome. And by the way, Washika is quite. I mean, she's a counselor, a minister, inspiration. She's awesome. She's awesome. That's Cam's wife.
Right.
So,
This community's blessed to have her. I've heard her in action, seen her in action.
look, I built a website one weekend based off what she said.
She'll put the
yeah,
spirit
I mean,
all
it
over
was
you.
yeah, that is it. And you need the support system, and we got so many great folks in here. But I think about different things of life, like being in band, it's probably like any sport athlete. You have people you can call back on, and I have people that I went to school with or whatever. We could call each other right now after a year or two and still catch up like pretty quick. But I also know that I was involved in 4-H. My brother was involved in 4-H, and 4-H has that same thing, but it also gives a lot of neat ways for kids to be interactive and things like that. And that's one of the key things as you're growing up, you know, to
Right.
do that.
Well,
and
in
have
fifth,
friendship.
I'll never forget the camp, 4-H camp, has
Yeah.
a long-lasting memory imprinted in my mind.
Are we talking Rock Eagle?
Well, we're talking
Yeah.
Rock Eagle.
Rock Eagle.
That's the only
That's
one there
it.
was.
That's
We have
it. Yes.
options now, right?
Yeah.
There's options now.
There
Back
are
then,
5
back
Georgia
then,
4-H
there was no
camps now.
option. We went to Rock Eagle, no option. Just went, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Get out and get a little dirty and.
Look, I love camp. Camp was always a good time. Band, I was heavy in 4-H in middle school, but then in high school I ended up in band. I think Drew did too. Drew was about the same way. Of course, we did live in Tennessee 2 years, but anyway, then high school. And Lauren probably still holds it to me this day that I took Drew out of 4-H. I don't know. She probably wasn't even thinking about that until I just said it. But anyway, but 4-H is a great avenue for students to get involved and apply themselves. And it helps, I think, in life as you're growing in those years to have that focus
Right.
that you can have. And that's something that you need when dealing with mental. I mean, you need, focus and growth and things like that. But 4-H is a great way to guide, if you will. So, hey, Lauren,
Hey, Stan.
what you up to?
Just chilling.
It,
But yes,
Yes.
so the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that 1 in 5 youth experience some mental health challenge. And I guess the reason I am so passionate about this is because that was me when I was in 5th grade. And finding my spark is what we refer to it now as, but my passion. What do I enjoy? What do I want to be curious about and learn more about? That is what really helped me navigate my school years. And so for me, that's the basis of what 4-H should be, with our positive youth development and making sure our youth are thriving and growing. And y'all were talking about stigma earlier. Stigma
yeah,
is the health hazard.
right?
It's
Right.
not the mental health challenge that we may all experience. It's the stigma
They're
of
trying to
of-
cover it up.
right,
Up the way you
people
do it. Yeah.
judging you and
Right.
and pushing you aside, and so like we definitely have a heart for the marginalized, and mental health is a group of people. Those who suffer from mental health are definitely part of our marginalized society, but normalizing it like
Right,
we do
yes.
the broken bones and the torn ligaments and all that is
That's
so
what
important.
we talked about yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like we also know, so I'm twofold here, right? Like I care about student voice, and I care about our students knowing that what they're experiencing and what they're going through is normal, and it's a part of that growth process. And I want them to know that they need a trusted adult, because
Yes.
that is so important
Yeah.
to positive youth development. But then on the flip side of that, helping adults learn how to assist in that positive youth development is so important as well. And so we're very fortunate that through the USDA Rural Health and Safety Grant, I was able to get certified to be a facilitator for youth mental health first aid. And so that's a training that we can offer to adults
Yeah.
locally.
Wow, that's pretty cool too. That is incredible. And yeah, that we talk. If you have a broken bone, I mean, you kind of know it. You look at it and all that. Sometimes mental health, people want to slide it under the rug or say, and even adults will say, like, hey, you just gotta act like it's all good. Well, sometimes you do have to fake it till you make it, but other times you need to process it and go ahead and go, this is what's real, this is what's really happening, and this is what is is going on, and that way you can come through in a bigger way. So and I also want to say, Tammy, we do have a guest by phone, and I hope that they've been able to hear us. So
We do.
yeah, do you want to introduce that?
I
that
would
guest?
love to introduce Mr. Greg Trevor. He is a survivor
Okay.
of 911.
Oh my
the
gosh!
actual
Wow.
bombing at 911. He is with us now in the Athens area at UGA, and I heard him at a Rotary, Classic City Rotary meeting, and I thought, wow, he's one of the few
Yeah.
and he can share a little bit about mental health awareness,
Wow.
his experience. He has a testimony. And so, most people think about that tragedy and they really think nobody survived it.
Right.
But there was a few, and Greg was one of those. And we would just like to welcome Greg this morning and just share a little bit about his story and his experience and his support of mental health awareness.
Good morning, Greg. Are you there?
Yes, I am, and I have been listening, and I just want to say I am in such total agreement with what you've been talking about. Just a couple of quick things. One, actually, when my wife and I were raising our two sons in New Jersey, we were members of 4-H, and I can tell you wholeheartedly that it's a great program, and it's really good for developing youth and providing great values and great skills. And also, you are correct. I am a survivor of the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center, which is where I worked. My office was on the 68th floor of One World Trade. I was at my desk at 8:46 a.m. when the first plane hit. And my coworkers and I worked for the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, the regional transportation agency, which at the time owned the World Trade Center. And our group evacuated and eventually were able to escape from the towers 11 minutes before Tower 1 collapsed. So it was obviously you might imagine, a very traumatic experience. I still suffer from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I am still in therapy for that. I'm still on medication for that after 22 years, and I am always willing as a living witness to talk about the impact it's had on me and to encourage people, as you've just been talking about, to not feel like they have to hide in the shadows when it comes to mental health, that they should feel like any other kind of affliction that will affect us, like a broken bone, as you've mentioned multiple times, that we should be encouraging people to go out and get the help and the assistance that they need. And I'm going to tell you one other quick thing. 7 years ago, right before I left to come to the University of Georgia, my wife and I worked with some of our local individuals in our town to have an event on the September 11th anniversary about destigmatizing mental health care. It was a 3-hour event, and we talked about all the different issues that affect people and make them fearful or worried about being judged. And the one thing I'm very proud to tell you is that right in the middle of that event, a woman, I don't even know her name, stood up and said, I came here today because I've been trying to get help for 3 years. I cannot get therapy. I've not been able to get any kind of assistance, and I'm kind of at the end of my rope, and I don't know what to do. And my therapist at the time, the therapist who was the MC of our event, who was a neighbor of ours, and then a third therapist who was a friend of ours, took this person into a quiet, safe space in the facility where we were, and were able to actually get her the diagnosis and the treatment she needed. So, as I always said, if there was one thing we got out of that 3-hour event, it was at least that, and it just shows the power of how important it is for people to look out for one another in these very, very important issues, which, as we all know, in the era we're living in right now, is really having a serious effect not only on our youth but on young adults and people throughout our society. And the more we can talk about it, the more we can destigmatize and normalize it, to use the word that one of you used a few minutes ago. I think the better off we're all going to be as a society.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
What a blessing it is to just be able to talk to you today, and how incredible. And I'm very thankful to get to just hear you speak today. And so, but thank you for what you do. And I'm serious. You have a testimony that is very powerful. And thank you for sharing with us today. So, wow. But it's something that it's okay to talk about. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. And
absolutely, no, absolutely it's okay to talk about. In fact, we should encourage people to talk about it, because that's how they're going to get the help they need, and that's how we're all going to be able to look out for one another.
right.
And again, and my hat's off to you in this program and this whole week of spending time focusing on this, because this is how we're going to help solve this problem and get people the help they need. So bless you as well. And I heard you. It was interesting. You mentioned earlier before about people of faith, and sometimes people feel like that's a place where they can turn. I'm also very active in my church here in Athens, And every week when I'm in services, I pray for the souls of the nearly 3,000 people who were killed that day in the World Trade Center on September 11th, 2001. And I have a prayer I say every time, which is I pray for their may their bodies find eternal rest, their souls find eternal joy and salvation, and their families find eternal comfort. Because that's what that's what we're all praying for. Everyone who was so tragically affected by that, to be to process it, to use again the word you used just a few minutes ago.
Right,
and to
process.
Processing
Yes.
is so important, and to be able to be able to and I always tell people, I say, I'm on a journey for the rest of my life with this, and no matter how far I go, I know I'm never going to get back to September 10th. I'm never going to get back to the day before, and neither will anyone else. But we can continue that path forward to seek wellness and to seek the ability to continue to process the effects of something as tragic as that, and all tragedies that people face in their lives. I mean, September 11th is not the only tragedy that people have faced. There's so many that affect so many of us on the personal level, on a more global level, and we just all have to be cognizant of that and cognizant of the things that might be affecting the people we deal with, we work with, and we love and hold dear.
That's right. And as you speak, the veterans come to my mind. When they're in service and when they're in active duty, you all were in the unknown at the time in that building. You had spoken before at Rotary that you didn't really even know what was going on. So you're there, you're unaware of what's going on, you have no control of what's going on. And so, you think about the military and how they're doing, the active duty to, protect our country and the things that they go through. And you mentioned PTSD. I know that many veterans suffer from PTSD as well. And again, there's no shame in that. They have given, their lives to protect us, and some come back to us with harm. And so, in thinking about that, just like yourself, many veterans, just empowering them to be able to feel comfortable in reaching out for the help that they need, because their lives matter. Every life matters. And we don't want to lose one more in Elbert County. Chuck Allman told us yesterday the percentages have risen to 30-40% in Elbert County alone.
And that's just the last 3 years.
That's just the last 3 years, and we simply just
Well,
want to do
I don't
all effort.
I don't know if I mentioned this when I spoke to Rotary, but I am the son of a former Green Beret. My father, Barry Trevor, was Special Forces at Fort Bragg in the late 50s and early 1960s, and he was fortunate enough that he was never had to serve overseas. But we know a lot of people. He served with a lot of people who experienced both those obviously people who lost their lives defending and protecting our nation, and then people who survived with PTSD or other forms of trauma that they've had to deal with. And you're absolutely right. I mean, it is a very serious problem in our military, and I'm glad to see that there is more attention being focused on it now, because again, these are people to whom we owe an incalculable debt for what they have done on behalf of us and behalf of our freedoms. Right. And the more we can help them, and the more we can acknowledge the fact that it's okay for them to get help, I think the better off we're all going to be.
That's right.
Wow. And I just want to say, how long have you lived in Georgia?
This month marks my 7th anniversary. I moved here in October of 2016.
Welcome home. welcome to Georgia.
Right. And Mr. Trevor here, he's the Division of Marketing and Communication at UGA.
Oh, okay.
So we're blessed to
Awesome.
have him right here in our
And
area.
we love Georgia, let me tell you.
No, it's a terrific school.
Yeah.
It's a great place to work. We're led by a terrific president, President Jerry Moorhead, who has a great vision for this institution. And one of the things I'm really proud of to be part of this is that this is, I mean, look, let's face it. I mean, 2 straight National Football Championships gets a lot of attention.
Right.
It does.
Right.
But
yes.
this is also an institution that, in addition to being an athletic powerhouse, is clearly an academic powerhouse.
That's right.
Georgia's been ranked in the top 20 by U.S. News and World Report among public universities now for 8 years in a row.
Right.
And it's a very highly regarded school. Out-of-state applications have risen tremendously. The quality of students who are being admitted is tremendous. And my wife and I live in Five Points, which, for those of you who are not familiar, is right near where most of the fraternities and sororities are housed. And I've got to tell you, we're 2 blocks away, and in the 6 years we've lived in our house, we've heard maybe 2 parties.
Mhm.
Very respectful young men and women. I've been very impressed with them, how mannered they are, how respectful they are, what good neighbors they are. And then that's in addition to the amazing students that we have here. I actually work with a lot of students at the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication, and also in the College of Public Health Institute for Disaster Management. People aren't aware of this, but the University of Georgia is got probably the most comprehensive curriculum in the country for the study of crisis communication. We are producing students, graduates, who are going on to great careers in academia, in industry, in the nonprofit sector, who are understanding and are very capable of being able to manage these kinds of issues. And as a practitioner, I'm very proud to work with the faculty here who are doing tremendous work. And I meet with these students, and I guest lecture with these students, and I mentor some of these students. And I can tell you, they're great students. They work hard. They've really got their eye on what they're trying to accomplish. And I know that when they get out in the world, they're just going to be incredibly successful. I'm really proud to be part of this institution. I think it's a terrific institution.
And you
I think
mentioned
we're
the football. My heart's desire has been for several years now to find a way between the hedges the first week in October for Mental Health Awareness Week for just one Saturday. All those people in that stadium, if we could reach them with mental health awareness.
Mhm.
Mr. Trevor, if you know the president of UGA, let's talk to him. Let's see if we can incorporate something for next year. Seeds are planted everywhere for mental health awareness, and that is just a tremendous avenue that's been placed on my heart personally, is somehow for one day to get some message between the hedges at a football game. I mean, that's huge.
And I did hear where Coach Smart yesterday, they may on their uniform or helmets have something this Saturday for mental health
Awesome.
awareness. I didn't get all of it, but I did hear him
Awesome.
give a speech.
I have
Coach
students every year, and I just keep plugging away to let's try to get between the hedges.
Yes,
Anybody
that's
that knows
right.
anybody,
Yeah.
if we can do that, that would be an amazing feat to do an annual thing there on the Saturday
The
of
one thing
mental.
you'll learn about me is I never overpromise. So I'm not going to
Oh,
make any
that's right.
guarantees,
That's
but
right.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
plant
certainly
seeds.
I'm certainly happy to convey the sentiments because
Yes.
Plant
I think
seeds,
this
yes.
is so important.
Yes.
And I know that one of the commitments here at the university for all of our students, in our student athletes as well, all of our students, is to try to do everything we can to support their mental health and their mental
Right.
wellness, because it's on a practical level, it means that they can be better students and learn more effectively, but it also helps them be better people
That's
and
right.
feel much more comfortable and confident as they go out into the
Well,
world.
Friends
So,
of Advantage will welcome anything you could do to connect that, and you have my information. We'll get together on that. Not take this time today for it, but that's just a plug there.
And there's
I
an awesome
understand.
advantage
It's
right
quite all
there
right.
in
I get those
Athens.
all the time. It's
That's
fine.
right. That's right.
And Athens has a wonderful advantage
Oh,
facility there
Goodness,
too. So
it's,
Yes.
it's unbelievable with
Absolutely.
the behavioral
And I
health crisis.
will tell you, I have a great therapist here in town, a gentleman named Justin Schewel. I had a therapy session with him last night. It was very, very productive. I'm in therapy regularly. I find it incredibly beneficial, and I think if there's one challenge we face right now, it's having enough therapists for the
That's
people
right.
who need that kind of support.
You're on it.
I know there are people I've tried to help get placed with therapists, and I know it's a challenge. I know the challenges that folks who are in the mental health field are dealing with, because there's such a heavy demand for it. And when you think about the stigma issues, combined with the fact that when people are trying to overcome the stigma or trying to get out of the shadows with it, if they can't find someone who can help them, it's just going to make it that much harder for them to get the help they need. So I think anything we can do to raise awareness of this is really important.
Thank
Well,
you.
hey, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for calling in and being a part of this today. And we have what we call a break. We have to take a commercial break, so this is one of those times where we have to take a break in this hour. for commercials. But Gary, like, what was your last name?
Trevor. I have two first names,
Oh,
Greg, Trevor. It
Greg.
confuses everybody. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
Greg. I won't forget it now. I will not forget it now. But Greg, thank you so much for your time and thank you for sharing and you know, folks, we never know what goes. Things can happen in life that create. You know, we all have a family member, or we've been through something, or we know a friend. But things in life happen. But it's okay. It's okay. And you know what? And there's always hope. There's always a better day coming. And you know, like my brother's military, but Greg, I don't know if you were military or not in your life, but I feel like that what Tammy said. I feel like I want to thank you for being who you are and serving in a way that you are, because I just feel like I know that you will help people when you see it. You know.
And I thank you very much. It's very kind of you to say. I would say that anybody who ever needs any help, if they get in touch or reach out to me, I'm always happy to help them any way I can. So I think, and again, I think programs like this are a really good way to help get the word out about that. So anything I can do to help you all in the future, please let me know. Do not hesitate to ask. And good luck with everything, because again, this is so important for individuals, for families, and for our society as a whole. So I'm bless you all for that. And I'm going to leave with one other thought that I think I mentioned this when I was in Athens, if I may. I don't want to run into your commercial break, but the thing I always say about my life is, and this is something I think about every day ever since 9/11, and that is, every day is a gift, and every breath is a blessing. And one of the things I have on my whiteboard in my office is, what will you do with your gift today? And I'm really proud of the fact that I spent part of my gift today speaking with you and your audience, because I think it's really, really important.
Thank you so much, and we hope that many people will listen, have conversations that help them, and maybe even things they deal with they haven't talked about, but maybe they'll find someone to talk and someone to process with.
Yep,
and,
I hope so too.
And
All right,
so,
well, thank you very much.
Thank
I really
you, Greg.
appreciate the time. My pleasure to be there, and again, good luck with everything.
Thank you. That is Greg Trevor, and thanks him so much. I call it thank you, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Greg Trevor coming in via satellite today. Hey, we're going to take a short break, but we've got Suzanne here. We've got Amanda here. We've got Lauren, and we've got a whole lot more to talk about coming up right after this on 105.3 WSGC. Hey, this is Stan the Man, and I'm here at Dean's Grocery with Buck Dean himself. Francis Dean Drive is where you need to put it in your phone and head on down here for some great cook-to-order food. Buck Dean, I know you got that triple stack burger, but what else is cooking in the kitchen?
Okay, yes, we have the triple stack. We have the slot dog, chili dog, pork chop, double cheeseburger, catfish. We have a little some of everything. So y'all come on out to Dean's Grocery. You cook the order. While you wait, just shoot your game of pool while you're waiting on your food. It'll be hot and fresh when you get it.
I'm telling you what, y'all, Dean's Grocery is where to go. Call in that order at 706-318-8862. That's 706-318-8862. We here, and we about to get that catfish sandwich. Come on out and get your 2 chili dogs and fries. It's all here at Dean's Grocery, Francis Dean Drive in Elberton.
Hey, this is Kate at Hometown Butcher, located on 7127 Royston Highway, also known as the Gold Mine Community. We have a great selection of quality meat products, fresh quality meats cut your way every day at Hometown Butcher. Everything from ribeyes to fresh ground salt. We also carry a variety of seafood, jellies, jams, and more. If you have a question or a special order, you can call us at 706-376-7828. That's 706-376-7828. Come on by and see us at Hometown Butcher, 7127 Royston Highway.
Ready to paint the walls of your home or give a new curb appeal to your property? Southern Hardware, located in Comer, Georgia, is your next stop for quality paint with Valspar paint. With color matching, you'll easily find the right color and look that you desire. Southern Hardware in Comer carries a full line of hardware, lawn and garden, pet supplies, plumbing and electrical, farm supplies, painting supplies, and yes, Valspar paint. 2 great names, Valspar and Southern Hardware. Visit Southern Hardware, located at 650 Highway 72 West in Comer, on 706-783-5016.
This is Lynn Kellum. Thank you for coming into Southern Hardware in Comer, Georgia.
Tire
Tired of tap water? Want something refreshing and pure? Look no further than Bulldog Water Company. Located at 362 South Oliver Street in Elberton, Bulldog Water Company brings you a taste of nature right to your doorstep. Imagine sipping on pure, natural spring water sourced from the majestic Blue Ridge Mountains.
Ever since I switched to Bulldog Water Company, I can't imagine going back to anything else. It's like drinking from a natural oasis.
Call us today at 706-522-8001 to place your order and experience the freshness of the mountains without ever leaving your seat. Adrian Allen and staff are dedicated to serving the community and ensuring you get the water you deserve. Join our growing community of satisfied customers. Embrace the goodness of pure spring water delivered by Bulldog Water Company.
Call Bulldog Water Company now and get ready to taste the difference. Bulldog Water Company, delivered to your door.
Matthews Granite is looking to hire. They are looking for a shaper. That's Matthews Granite looking for a shaper. Please apply in person at 1177 Ruckersville Road or call Todd Sharp at 412-789-9477. That's 412-789-9477. That's Matthews Granite looking to hire a shaper on their MGM location on Ruckersville Road.
Now, your Granite Country forecast from the WSGC 24-hour Weather Center.
Good morning, everyone. Our Thursday morning has a bright start with sunshine through the afternoon. Highs today in the low 80s. Clouds move in tonight with a low of 60. Tomorrow for Friday, partly cloudy and a high of 82. Saturday, a nice cool down. We'll have sunshine and highs in the low 70s. Then on Sunday, with sunny skies, the high will be 69. I'm Georgia meteorologist Laura Huckabee in the GNN Weather Center.
Serving Bowman and everyone else in the Granite Capital. 105.3 WSGC.
And we are back with more Community Spotlight as we wrap up our 9 o'clock hour and awareness, Mental Health Awareness Week right here, WSGC, with Tammy Dalton. And Tammy, we have more great guests this morning. And I want to mention Amanda, whose son Saxon is playing football now. And if Coach Smart was listening, you know, with the mental health awareness and the word gets there, I just want to say there's a young man named Saxon out there playing football.
He was told he's headed for a Division I school.
See there? Look at
That's
this.
right.
First
Sorry.
And there's one just a few minutes away, 45 minutes away. So, and you know, football is another thing like 4-H that helps kids interact and grow, and it's so important to where you can have a brotherhood to lean on in those times. And we also have Suzanne here, who is is really, she's, I guess we call on the ground. I mean, on the ground running, you know. And Suzanne, you see more than anybody, but in the importance of being able to communicate, folks to communicate and do things before you, because crisis can happen. And by the way, the crisis number 988. I've learned that this week.
Yes.
I did not know about that, like 911.
That's the National Crisis Hotline, 24/7, because we know that mental health is not 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. It goes over, and so it gives us a resource. And put that in your tool belt.
Yeah.
Over at Countyans, we want you to have that and empower you to use that. It could save a life.
That's it. And of course, we don't want people to be in crisis, but if you're in a crisis, that's it. But hopefully, this will be a way that people can communicate before a crisis happens.
And Suzanne has some information about walk-ins and good things she's doing here in Elbert County at the clinic. So
yes,
Suzanne.
good morning, and thank you for having me. So I am Suzanne Sanders, and I'm the clinic manager of the Elbert County Clinic here with Advantage Behavioral, and we do see people on a walk-in basis. We do your intake anytime, Monday through Friday. We start at 8:30, and you just walk in to access services, be assessed, see a counselor, and we get you going as soon as you get there.
And so, and you're right here in Elbert County.
Right here in Elbert County on Chestnut Street, right here in town near the hospital.
That is right. I have an 11 o'clock meeting today at the hospital, so mine's across the street, and I can't wait to go. Hey, one day I would like to walk in to see your cafeteria, your kitchen. Is that okay?
Oh, when it's finished?
Yeah, well, I'd like to see it before it's finished.
Oh, that's Mary's place, the Discovery Center.
Okay.
Hey, I have some wonderful news.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Tell me, Tammy.
So Allison
Yes.
and Kevin
Rice.
at Keystone
I know them.
has
I graduated with them.
agreed to donate a granite countertop for Mary Fernandez
Are you
and
serious?
her program at the Elbert Discovery
Wow.
Center.
Yay!
That means that WSGC is going to
We're
pay
buying
for some
paint.
paint.
Yeah, we're getting paint. Just give me the bill. Just give me the bill. Cam, can I borrow a couple? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Well, Suzanne, and what is the address of Advantage if people that don't know, because a lot of people may not even know it's there. I know that that y'all work in it, but in Elberton as general, I don't think that folks know Advantage and where it's at.
You're right. I think you're right. They don't know. And we're at 50 Chestnut Street. So we're right across the street from the hospital.
And that's the brick building is Advantage, and then the Madden's Pharmacy building is called what?
That's the
Discovery Center. So
The brick building was formerly Dr. Burrow's office.
and I knew that that both of those buildings were tied in. So well, look, this week has been incredible as far as just opening up and creating discussions, because we want people to be able to talk and be able to say, hey, this is what I dealt with, and you know, sometimes a traumatic thing may not, to one person may not seem traumatic, but it may be to that person. And each person process is different, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
We
Yeah.
don't do cookie cutter treatment
Yeah.
at Advantage. It is individualized treatment. You know, everybody's about customization. We put our monograms on everything, right?
Yeah.
Treatment at Advantage is customized. Suzanne's got some more information of how to reach out.
How to reach out and how to reach us here at the Elbert Clinic. Our number is 213-2048, or we have a centralized scheduling department that can help you as well, and that number is 1-855-333-9544. And again, here in Elberton or at any clinic, we do walk-ins beginning at 8:30 every morning.
Awesome. And so walk-ins are available right here in town, and that way,
Absolutely.
and that is an awesome thing for our community and wellness of the community and just well-being in general. And yes, sometimes there's an actual broken bone. I mean, there's something that happens, but sometimes that is not seen, and it's okay to let people know and let people know where you are, and also to know that hope is always there. I just always want to say that. Even if you do not see a light in a tunnel, let me tell you, the sun will come up again, and there's a whole new day. And
So Suzanne, can you share some of the things that we serve in treatment there at Elbert Clinic?
We serve individuals on an outpatient basis that are seeking treatment for mental health and or substance use disorders.
Okay, and what might that look like in mental health, like
Well, in mental
depression?
health, it could be depression, or like our speaker earlier spoke of PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder, stress, anxiety. We serve lots of different mental health disorders. And really, like you said, our treatment is customized. So we do our assessment based on what you bring to us, and we provide your treatment accordingly.
wow.
Aren't we
Wow.
lucky to have Suzanne right here in Alberton?
Very lucky.
You know, we have
Very
a
lucky.
shortage of mental health counselors across the nation, but right here in Elbert County, we have somebody that was raised here, lives here, and comes back to serve
That's
here.
even more awesome, because I feel like she could have went anywhere, but she
Absolutely.
chose
She
Elberton.
chose home,
And
right?
thank you, Suzanne, for doing that. I mean, that, and what an
Absolutely,
important
it's a
job,
privilege.
an important job, a hero, if you will, there too, and being able to serve as well. So that is. Have you, when you finished college, did you come straight back to Elberton, or did you work elsewhere and then come back?
I did not come straight back to Elberton. I spent some time away, and I spent some time working community health, working in a school as a school counselor. So I have, you know, a long history in the field, working with people and different types of areas. And but I decided that Elberton is home, and this is where I like to serve, and I feel like it's an honor to serve here and
Awesome.
give back to my community.
Well, we appreciate you and appreciate you being here today too. So,
Thank you so much for having me.
and you know, somebody that has made Elberton home, and it's almost like she's from a small town anyway, but is Amanda Lucas, and so she she has really made Elberton home and dug in, and the kids are in school, and we just appreciate all that she does for the community. So you work all. I see her delivering donuts to teachers, which is to me mental health awareness right there because
they deserve so much
they
more.
They do, but you're always working to make things better for not for those around you, for those that your kids are involved with, and just making the community feel good about things. So, and we see that. I mean, you see it happening, and so. But you're one of those people that are always looking to see what needs to be done and how do we do it.
Well, it's funny you talk about why I've made Elberton my home now. I did grow up in a town very similar to Elberton in Cleveland. Most people know Cabbage Patch Kids. They've heard of Helen. But it's not home anymore. And it goes back to a mental health event that I went through as a child. My father fought alcohol and depression all my life. And I can remember as a child the police coming to our house in the middle of the night where my father threatened to commit suicide and, called a suicide hotline. And I remember the deputies would sit across the road from our house. I can remember one time even going into hiding from my father. And when I was Saxon's age, I was with my great-grandparents who raised me. And I remember the knock on the door. And it was like I could hear everything going on, but I was in the back of the house. And I was trying to process what I was hearing. And I remember the EMT was there and was telling my granddaddy Saxon that my father had killed himself. And he had tried to kill my mother in the process. He died thinking he killed her. And my whole life, I will always believe if we had been there, he would have taken us with him. But as the scripture talks about with Joseph, what you meant for evil, God meant for good.
Amen.
And for so long, I was scared to share my story because I felt like that is who defined who I was. I remember in high school overhearing a teacher. I don't even remember the teacher's name. I don't think she was even one of my teachers. But I heard her say, that's the little girl whose daddy killed himself. And I could not wait to get away from home and to define myself and define who I was. And it's taken me years, decades at this point, to be able to share my story because for so long I considered it a skeleton in the closet. Because I fought so hard for people to see me as who I was, not define what happened to my parents. And that's one thing I love about Elberton is that my children can grow up in the same kind of hometown I grew up in, but they don't have to worry about people defining them by what happened to their grandfather. Right. And then now as a funeral director, I'm able to share my story with families that come in that have been affected by suicide. And automatically, I'm no longer the enemy. God has used my story to be able to help people now going through this something similar that I went through.
Wow. And I'll say this, and I'm going to go spiritual because that's who I am, but what the devil means for harm, God can take and make for good. Mm-hmm. Every time.
Absolutely.
Every time. That never stops. And that's why The Blind, I keep pushing that movie each day. It may not be your most entertaining movie that you've ever seen. I don't know. How people take it, but but it will show you Christ, and I believe that when you said that God has used it, and I think God will use each and everything, and I think it's okay to let people know, hey, because you know what, you're okay.
Yeah.
You're okay.
I'm a survivor.
Yeah.
And I look, Saxon will be 14 this year, and this month. And when I was 14, I had to call my grandmother and tell her, I was a kid. Yeah. I said he finally did it. Wow. That's how I told my grandmother that her son had killed himself. Wow. No 14-year-old should have to do that.
That's heavy. That's real heavy.
And so I have worked very hard for my children not to have to go through the same things that I went through. And that's why now I want to share my story to tell if other kids have been through those things, you'll come out on the other end.
Amen. Amen. Wow, thank you for sharing your story and opening up and folks. I mean, if you're listening in Chattanooga, Tennessee, even because we have listeners around and wherever you are, to know that it's okay to share, it's okay to talk. Cam said earlier, find trusted, trusted individuals, people that you know and can trust, and share with them, and then those people will help you find the right help. And not the cookie cutter isn't the same.
That's right.
But you find it, and I think Suzanne said it best when it was customized care, and you find that customized care, and even in chemical imbalances, that's not an easy seesaw either. I mean, it's one that you have to work on, and so in each experience, you want to start knocking, seeking, and asking, and the doors will open.
That's right.
So
I believe if we make ourselves available. I'm not just a pastor. I mentor at the primary school, so I get to work with children. And like I say, everybody has issues. So if we're there to help children, whether through 4-H or in the school system, or point them toward advantage or toward the Lord, I can't witness the way I need to at church, but I can be the light and the example.
Amen.
When she was talking about going through things as a teenager, that's why I try to encourage all students. Find someone you can trust and talk to.
Yeah.
I lost both my grandparents. We was getting ready to go on spring break my junior year in high school. I lost both my grandparents. They were killed by a drunk driver. That affected our family for years.
Yeah.
And 2 months after they lost their lives, their oldest son, my uncle, he died of a massive heart attack. So our family went through a traumatic experience. But I appreciate people in my church, in my community, my father, my mom, other counselors and people that helped me through that, and that's one of the reasons I believe that God has placed me in the school. Amanda and Lauren and all of us for what we do to try to help children and adults, because all of us again are dealing with something. All of us.
That's right.
And it's all right to acknowledge it.
Yes.
You can't tell everybody. I don't think you
Yeah,
should tell
yeah.
everybody. But tell somebody that's going
Trusted.
trusted
individuals.
trusted
Yes.
individuals that will either help you or get you the help you need.
Right.
Well, and I think you bring up a really valuable point with what we refer to as ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, and how many youth have those, and how many adults think, oh, well, they won't remember it. And they do. And Laura Evans has access to a documentary that's really good, and the research behind it says, the body doesn't forget.
Right.
And so if we don't spend time talking and sharing, which is one of the greatest ways to process or figure out what works for us as an individual to break that stress cycle, then we are just setting ourselves up for a life of struggling and running from it.
Yes.
And just feeding the stigma that is so hazardous to our health.
Wow. I mean, this is big. Here we are at 10 o'clock, and I feel like we're really just getting started. and our hour is almost up. But I do, before we wrap up, Tammy, and I'm going to hand it to you, but I want Suzanne to give that address and the number for, like that you gave a while ago out again.
Sure, I'd be glad to. So our address for the Elbert Clinic is 50 Chestnut Street, and our direct number is 706-213-2048.
That is awesome. And also remember the crisis number, folks, 988. If you ever are in a crisis, make a little thing, put it on your refrigerator. I mean, have it there for other people to know about, and that way, like anybody can find help.
Put it in your phone.
Put it in your phone, yes. And just go ahead and label it.
There when you need it.
And if you,
Move, Lauren.
and whether you need it, a friend needs it, or somehow it comes up, remember, hey, here we go, right here, I got you. And so because there's always going to be hope, always. And we all go through things in life. You never know when something's going to affect you a certain way. And of course, family members mean everything. Sometimes we don't understand what they're going through. But this is a time that we can learn and learn more about it. Tammy, we're at that time of the day. Yeah.
I want to thank our guest. I'm telling you, this has just been tremendous this week. Sad to see it maybe coming to a close tomorrow. I mean, it just seems like something that
Yeah.
we just run out of time very quickly. But tomorrow we do have some special guests. We have Allison Warren. She is our manager and director of youth services at Advantage Behavioral Health, and that's across 10 counties, including Elbert. Our own Dan Fernandez.
Dan.
Dan the man.
Yes.
Courtney Wright, it has a testimonial tomorrow, and it's very moving
Yes.
if anybody could hear that. And our own Darren Scarber. Listen, the law enforcement is so important when it comes to mental health. The Sheriff's Department plays a vital role in our mental health community, and we're thankful for Darren and his willingness to come in the morning at 9 o'clock and be with us and just share the support of he and then Police Chief Scott Mornich this week. Tremendous, y'all. Tremendous. Thank you.
And we thank all of our guests today, Amanda Lucas and Lauren Dye here, Suzanne Sanders, Tammy Dalton, and of course Cam McClary. Wait a minute, I know all y'all. I just realized that. I know everybody in here. So yeah. So I'm like, hey, I know everybody here.
It's almost like a small town.
I'm not gonna say who, but I think I've taught at least two people in here guitar lessons. I think. Am I right? Am I right?
You may be right.
Okay, yes. And I'm not naming names. I'm just saying. One of them was a prodigy, but I won't go into that either.
That's stretching it a
I
lot.
think you were really good.
That's stretching
The
it
next
a
thing I know,
lot.
her sister comes home from college playing a guitar. I'm like, wait a minute. It was her, and that was you. And so you dropped it, and your sister picked it up.
I have no musical talent.
Her sister picked it up and went with it and got a degree. So, in music. So.
Speaking of music can be very healing to people.
Yes.
Very
yes.
healing. So it's a good thing. I do want to mention before we leave today the Kendra Scott and Friends of Advantage Percentage Week. So Kendra Scott has really nice jewelry. She's located at 196 Alps Road, number 44. But if you can't go to the store, they have a shop online at www.kendrascott.com, and there is a code.
Okay.
If you use this code, and it's GiveBack, GIVEBACK hyphen FALOE, Kendra's going to give us 20% of the sales to Friends of Advantage, which is very necessary. As we've talked about this week, we have needs over there at 50 Chestnut.
Wow.
We have some needs for, now we have the paint, now we have the countertop, we've got to pay labor. So we've got paid professionals coming in to paint. We just need some help. So if anybody wants to give,
Donate.
please look at www.friendsofadvantage.org, and you can donate by clicking the button.
And we have a link on our Facebook page for WSGC. We'll try to reshare that today to get that link out. Please do help Advantage because they're helping people, and that will be awesome. Thank y'all. Anything else before we wrap up? Because I don't want to just wrap up with everybody being here for your time. But I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you. Y'all are awesome in every way. And Cam, you still as cool as you was back in high school. You the man. You the man. Hey, folks, thank y'all for tuning in. And this is Mental Health Awareness Week, and that is why we picked this week to do this. But it's also something we need to do. We need to share with people and open up to people and be well, not just in one area, but be well in all areas. So, and we hope that this is a part of that process.
Mind, body, soul.
There you go. Holler. What? Back to staying the man now. All right, folks, stay tuned. We've got more great country favorites, and yes, we've got some Chris Tomlin, which is a praise and worship coming up. Somebody had requested, so we'll have Chris Tomlin on the way with also more country favorites. All right here on 105.3 WSGC. Y'all have a great Thursday.
Broadcasting locally at 105.3 FM.